What's up, y'all? It's the faceless caseworker back at it again. I want to touch back since my last video. I was speaking on the passing of DMX, and I spoke on what really killed DMX, right? And we spoke on development and his childhood and how he missed the caring and the nurturing from his mother, which led him to not feel love, which transpired into the conflicts in his life. But sitting back and analyzing and thinking about this, I thought about things that I would say with DMX would have probably saved his life. Alright? Some of the things that would have saved his life. Now, obviously, some of the things are talking about people say, oh, if he would have been substance abuse treatment and different things and modalities of that. But we look at a lot of artists, Mac Miller, Juice World, Lil Peep, I think his name was. See a lot of artists who have overdosed on drugs. Whether it was accidental, whatever, but if you're popping medications at a high level of toxicity, then I would say it's still suicide. Looking in the case of Juice WRLD, where he apparently swallowed the pills to hide from authorities, but that's still like a suicide, because he ingested it himself. But what I'm looking at, what would DMX and what would have helped DMX is, when I analyzed DMX, I went through a lot of videos, interviews, and DMX talks a lot about and for those who don't know me so far, my name is the Faceless Caseworker. I've worked in the human service field, the social service field in New York City for over 8 years. I've worked with hundreds of clients who've dealt with mental illness, substance abuse, you name it, terminal illness, you name it, PTSD, anything that can happen to someone. I've dealt with them, and we try to help individuals recover and fix their lives. So, I know a lot about substance abuse. I know a lot about mental illness. I know about the modalities and the treatments available, especially therapeutic treatments outside of using medications. And one thing that I've analyzed in seeing DMX's interviews, DMX spoke a lot about his friend, who he thought was his friend, obviously was not his friend, gave him crack cocaine, right? And he didn't understand why his friend would give him crack cocaine. So I say this is that, and he basically broke down, and it's very sad to watch that why would a friend give you crack, and he said from there it was over. But like I stated in the other video, the crack was just something that once he hit the drug, he saw how much of an escape it gave him, how much it removes him from that trauma and the pain that he experienced through his life, and the emptiness. It filled that void. It made him not feel that escape. It made him not feel that emptiness inside. It became the hug from his mother that he never had. So on to there, which led to damaging his body, and later on in life, puts him in a dire strait where his body can't maintain and his heart gave. So it's one thing that, some people may get offended by this, but you have to understand where I'm coming from in a therapeutic manner. So one thing that I noticed DMX never really did was, most of the stuff that he spoke about was his mother. His mother didn't show him love. His friend gave him crack, but he never really took responsibility for his behavior. He never took responsibility for a lot of things. He spoke about his crimes that he committed. Never heard him speak and say he apologized for committing the crimes that he did. He never spoke about, despite him experiencing trauma and becoming, a felon and being a robber and assaulting people and different things, he never took responsibility for the actions and the violence or whatever that he committed, and the actions that he took upon himself Uh, and I believe if he would have taken more responsibility of his own actions, then he probably would have been in a better place, because he never did identify and come into peace and come into terms with the things that he was dealing with. And that is one major thing in therapy, is coming to terms with whatever you've been through. For example, a person can get off of crack, right? They could have been on crack for many years, get off crack, become successful. But if you can't come to terms with the things that you may have done while you were on crack, stealing from your family, selling your body, doing sexual acts that you probably never thought of doing, just violating and disabandoning your kids, not giving your kids love, leaving your kids stranded out for many years, and now you have to repair your life. One of the hardest things that people find and have a difficulty doing is coming to terms at peace with some of the things that they've done while they were on the drug. And like I said, one of the major things, like DMX'S mother, I don't know if she was on drugs, but maybe drugs played a part, is that she abandoned him. She wasn't there for him, which led him to become, the person that he was. Now, obviously, out of trauma, sometimes gifts are born. But at the same time, a lot of those things are unhealed. That person would never be fixed. I saw an interview with Tina Turner speaking on that, and she was coming to peace in terms of, she's saying this would be her last performance. And she was saying how much trauma, despite how much, the movie or whatever showed her feeling like she bounced back, but she said she still never fully recovered from the trauma that she experienced. And she's pushing her 70s, or maybe already 70 something, and she's stating she never recovered. She's never come to terms. So it's just hard that people have to come to terms with the things that they've done, or the things that you have to come to terms with it, to come into peace. Because you can become clean off of drugs, but you will never really be clean from the pain and the drama and the trauma that you're experiencing inside internally. I think if DMX would have received, therapy, steady, he went to therapy, but if he really got deeper, and really forgave his mother for abandoning him, and understanding and comprehending how humans behave, and how sometimes we get selfish in our minds, and sometimes even the drugs will lock us away from doing what's right. For instance, DMX had a lot of kids. I think he has 15 kids. Now, I don't know how much level of caring and attention he gave to kids. I've seen him a roller coaster video where he was with his daughter, telling her, "Daddy's here for you." But through a lot of the things that DMX went through, he went to prison. He was on tour. He went through a lot of drugs. Usually when people are on drugs, they're not really caring and paying attention to their kids. 15 years, 15 kids could also be him being a very popular individual, which led him to have sex with a lot of women. Also, it could have been just being very reckless. And obviously, a high percentage of people who have sex on drugs do not use protection. So that could be another thing where he had a lot of unprotected sex and end up reproducing a lot. But those are other traumatic things that happen. High level of reproduction and a little fathering or mothering. You're just not there for the kids, and then it's like a recycling door. It's like back and forth. Now the kids are going through the same thing. Hopefully none of DMX's kids end up using any drugs. God forbid. Hopefully there's enough money there. Things just work out. Another tragic story we see with Hollywood. The whole Bobby Brown story is such a sad and tragic story, with so many deaths and so many overdoses, from behind the scenes to the forefront. It's very sad. It's very terrible. But this is what this is what's going on in America. People use drugs to try to fulfill that hug that they never got from their loved ones. So I urge people out there, if you have kids, make sure you hug your kids. Love your kids. Hug them every time you see them. Hug them when next time you see them. Kiss them a good night. Kiss them when they wake up. That is one of the most important things you must provide to a child, to make them become flourishing, or make them be able to hold the smile when things are going hard. And if anybody's out there is going through some tough times, seek out therapy. You must find peace. You must come to terms with every trauma, with every drama, that traumatic feeling you heard. Even for those who have experienced gun violence. Unfortunately, when I was younger, I experienced gun violence innocently, just going to a party and was shot. Almost passed away, God forbid, that I'm still here today to be able to speak and pass these messages to you guys. So, I guess this is why we're in this field, to help people. But once again, my name is the Faceless Caseworker. I'll speak on some cases sometimes on here for those who are in the field looking to get some guidance. But, I'm going to stay unknown. And you never know. Every one day I'll reveal my face. But for now, the Faceless Caseworker shall remain. Thank you for you guys, man. Tune in, hit the notification button, subscribe. I'll be back on here. We're going to get real deep, man. Faceless Caseworker, I'm signing off. Thanks, guys. Till next time.